A prime Mike Tyson versus Muhammad Ali would be the biggest fight in boxing history. It would break all records. However, it is impossible, so we just have to speculate on how the fight would go. Ali was always up for a challenge and fighting the best, so for sure if Tyson was around at the same time as him, or vice versa, they would be in the ring. I will break down their attributes in different categories and how the fight would go. Remember, if you like the content, like and subscribe, thanks. When it comes to speed, that is pretty close since both were some of the fastest heavyweights ever. Although they used their speed in different ways. Mike used his speed to cut off the ring on his opponents and to try and throw knockout combinations, while in his peekaboo stance, Ali used his speed to try and create some distance between him and his opponents. He would try and counter an aggressive fighter. In this category, I will give it a draw. When it comes to punching power, I have to give it to Tyson. He had the power in both hands, and he hit harder. It isn't as if Ali had pillow hands, but his punching power relied more on putting punches together, precision and timing, rather than raw power. That is how he managed to get most of his KOs. Also, his opponents had a hard time seeing the right hand coming, and the punches they don't see coming are the ones that get fighters out of there. Alright, moving on to who is the better chin. This has to go to Ali. He fought some of the hardest punchers in history, and none of them knocked him out. He took punches from boxers such as Sonny Liston, George Foreman, Ernie Shavers, and Ron Lyle. All of those fighters could punch harder than Tyson when it comes to raw power, in my opinion. Ali had an uncanny ability to take punches to both the head and the body. Some fighters, if they can take punches to the head, are susceptible to the body. Tyson had a solid chin in his prime, and when he was knocked out by Buster Douglas and others, he wasn't training or focused. Also, by the time he came back to boxing, he wasn't really in his prime anymore and got KO'd a few times. In his prime, I never really saw Tyson rocked or hurt. He had a thick neck, which helps when it comes to absorbing punches. Moving on to stamina, hands down, has to go to Ali. He went the full 15-round decisions many times in his career, which was what title fights were back in the day. He also won 12 rounds many times. He had the conditioning to be moving around, dancing around the ring, slipping and sliding. That takes an immense amount of energy. Even when he didn't train properly, or he didn't take a fight serious, he could rely on his natural talent to get him through so he didn't severely gas out. Ali even got KO finishes in the 15th round against Chuck Wepner and also against Oscar Bonavena. Tyson, on the other hand, did tend to slow down and fade in the later rounds. Most of his KOs came in the first half of his fights. In later rounds, he would really not push the pace. He would go on cruise control. Tyson couldn't keep that aggressive pace he put on early on. He wasn't the same fighter in the later rounds. Ali was also surprisingly strong. He would grab and tie up bigger opponents, wearing them down. He would also lean on them, putting his weight on them. He would also put his glove behind his opponent's neck, pulling it down. These tactics would drain his opponents of energy. Yet, even with all those wrestling type of tactics to control his opponents, his stamina could handle it. Okay, moving on to the mental aspect and heart. Another clear win for Ali. He had really strong mental fortitude. Tyson had an aura of invincibility that would intimidate his opponents. But Ali wasn't even intimidated by more terrifying men. George Foreman and Sonny Liston are much more intimidating overall. He didn't break down mentally then. He tried to get in their heads instead. Ali was a good trash talker, so it would destabilize his opponents. Even during the fight, he would be talking to them. With Foreman, he called him all sorts of names and was taunting him if that's all he had, telling him he didn't hit hard. All this infuriated George, which made him play into the rope-a-dope tactic. He punched himself out. I remember Foreman saying that when Ali asked him if that's all he had, he thought to himself, yes it was. He became demoralized. Ali made Liston quit on the stool. Liston knew he didn't have a chance to win that fight. Ali had broken him down mentally before and during the fight. Ali had heart too. He went through some difficult fights in which he took a lot of damage. He was already rich and famous. He didn't need to be putting up with that kind of punishment. But that is when he dug deep and pulled out the victory. The same can't be said for Tyson. He had quit in him. If things weren't going his way in a fight, he wanted out. Teddy Atlas said that when Tyson faced adversity in a fight, he crumbled. Teddy also said that in his fights, Tyson had an unspoken contract with his opponent. When he was tired, he liked to rest by tying up his opponent, and says his opponent wanted to rest too and not be taking punches, they obliged him. Tyson on the surface level seemed confident, but he wasn't. Ali had supreme confidence in himself. If the two fought, he would break Tyson down mentally. When Tyson would want to rest, that's when Ali would turn it up and not let him. It would make Tyson very uncomfortable. Mike Tyson in interviews has said that Ali is the greatest. He is his hero. And he even became emotional. He is in awe of the man. Overall, Ali was the better fighter. He had physical attributes that give him advantages, like his reach and height. He had a good jab that could keep Tyson at bay. He also had intangibles, like his ring IQ, which he would use to frustrate Tyson. In my opinion, it would be a great fight, and Tyson might have some rounds in which he shines. But eventually, Ali would get TKO stoppage anywhere from the 8th round and on. Ali has the superior skills, but he also was the type of boxer that was willing to bite down on his mouthpiece and brawl it out. Tell me in the comments below, who do you think would win?